What's up and welcome to today's video. If you saw one of our previous video, our boy Zachary went from the V6 Mustang and joined the MX5 club. So we figured it's about high time we see how far the MX5 has come from the NB all the way up to the ND today. So we're gonna go for a drive and compare the two and see how different they are and see how much the same they are. Any thoughts, Zach?
It's a big year gap. 99 to what year is this one?
Mine's a 16.
Okay.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, almost 20 years difference. Dude, and the crazy thing I was thinking is that the NA is almost a 30-year-old car now. Like, that's insane.
They're hard to find in good condition for that reason, I think.
30, I mean, that's a classic car now.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's hit the road and let's put that, what, 115 horsepower to work?
We're lucky today.
All right, all right. Gotta get used to using a key again. Mine's with the keyless entry, so. Beautiful, fires right up. All right, here we go. The NB Mazda MX5 Miata. This has got to be one of my favorite cars, just the whole series in general. So let's go back. This car was introduced in, if I remember correctly, 1990 with the NA. And this particular one is the NB that followed up. So this one went from the 1.8 up to a 2-liter. It's still a twin cam motor, but the cool thing about these is that Mazda took what people loved about British sport roadsters. So they took like the MGs, they took the Jaguars, you know, think small, lightweight, low displacement but high revving motors. These cars are all about roads like this, coming onto a back road that's tight and twisty, and they're momentum cars. So this one, although it made more than the NA, it was still, I think, 115 horsepower, so not exactly a rocket ship, especially compared to the ND now. But the great thing about these is that they're just so nimble. You can just huck them around and they just do not care. They'll just keep going. I like to say the ND reminds me of like a puppy dog that's just always asking for more and like nipping at your heels and just wanting to play all the time. The MX-5 in general is the best selling sports car ever made. You know, some people chuckle at the term sports car with the amount of horsepower that it has, but hey, I think it's a sports car. So let's talk about this car in particular compared to the ND. So this is the second generation compared to mine, which is the fourth. And right off the bat, it feels very familiar in here. These cars are all about simplicity and not having like anything extra that you don't need. You know, there's this term in art that your piece is finished once there's nothing left to remove. And in the MX5, unless you're going for a full-on race car, there's nothing left to remove. They're just so plain and simple. And really the whole thing about this is that they're meant to drive. They're not meant to be highway cruisers. They're not meant to, you know, be super comfortable or super quiet or anything like that. They're meant to come on a mountain road like this one and have a good time. And it's definitely living up to that reputation. So there's many things that make the MX-5 great, but you know, starting with that heritage, they wanted it to be, compared to those British roadsters, they wanted that same sensation, the same feeling. They wanted the simplicity of it. They want front engine, high revving, low displacement, and rear wheel drive with a manual transmission in the middle. And to me, that's the way a sports car should be. There's ways that are faster, but to get a drive that's just more enjoyable, that combination is pretty hard to beat. There you go, heel toe shifting around the corners. This one I can definitely tell is a little bit down on power compared to the ND. The way you drive these things on a canyon road is basically like an on-off switch. Either you're gonna be full off the gas or all the way to the floor. So compared to those British Roadsters, they wanted these to be able to start every day. They wanted them to not leave any puddles of oil on your driveway. They wanted them to be something you could rely on. And they've definitely proven that. I mean, there's still people out there spec racing their first gen Miatas over, like we said, over 30 years later. And since it is one of the most produced sports cars, it's definitely also one of the most modified sport cars. When we talked about, when Zach first picked this up, is that you can really turn these cars into anything. I mean, there's people that have built rally car, like monster trucks out of them. You can take them drifting. You can turn it into like a spec race car, which many people have done. Or you can throw a turbo on it, make them crazy fast. It just, you can make it into whatever you want it to be, which is kind of the exciting part about these cars. This one, compared to the newer generation, it's definitely aged pretty well. I gotta get used to the higher clutch in this one. I keep accidentally granny shifting it. But let's talk about the main party piece of the MX-5. Compared to any other car, what this one and the whole generation has going for it is lightweight. And if you don't know about sports cars in general, that is like the #1 thing you want to have, because everything gets better as you make your car lighter. You get better gas mileage, you get better acceleration, you get better braking, your brakes last longer, you have less tire wear. As you make your car lighter, you can make your car have softer springs, and it can soak up corners better and also be more comfortable to drive. It just makes everything better. So the great part about these is that they're so light, and once you do begin to make modifications to them, whether it be to power or braking or anything else really, they respond so much to them because they have such little weight to carry around. To give a quick comparison, I mean, an average car, you're looking at about 3,000 pounds. These, about 2,400 pounds. So picture 3 full-grown men, and then take that out of the equation, and that's what you get in this car. And it just creates a really like raw, connected driving experience, and it's just fun. I mean, people always say that when they review these cars, that they're not about being fast, and they're not about being like the craziest, most ridiculous numbers car, but you have to drive one. Just get behind the wheel, and they're just fun. This is something you just want to go on a canyon road and just put a ton of miles on.
All right, I'm gonna assume that's recording. So on immediate startup, it already starts up a lot different, a lot newer engine, much different, more technologies. Everything's in a different place. He's got touchscreen. I have no screens in my car. Already feels a lot faster though. Feels a lot bigger. Yeah, the NB, you really have to wind out those gears. This one has a lot more torque and all over the rev range. Sounds a bit meaner too. You kind of get into there, kind of wants to yell at you. This car seems a lot more capable already, a lot quicker than the NB does. I don't know if it actually is. I would assume so. You think almost 20 years of technology, Mazda would have picked up a thing or two. Everything in this car feels so much more expensive. It feels luxurious. Said it right the first time. This car is not as upset by bumps. The ride is a lot more supple. It's interesting because it still feels sporty. It's nimble on its feet. It's not a heavier car. It doesn't feel more angry. I said it feels like you're not in tune with the car. It does. It just feels more refined. Never driven a Porsche, but I imagine this is what Mazda was going after. Oh, Brendan diving into the corners back there. That engine likes to sing. It's happy. This is a peppy engine. I don't know what Brendan was talking about. We were talking off camera, talking about how he really likes my engine just because of how peppy it is, and it does feel more raw, more analog. But this one's good. This one, it's a nice steady power range. Dipping it into the corner. Oh, there's a bump in the middle of that corner. Not upset at all. It just sticks. This road's not, the speed limit on it is very not fast, but it wants you to go fast. It wants you to push. Man, the throw is really short. Not used to that second gear. I've only driven this car I think once, and then Brendan handed me the keys to go on a mountain road with it. I don't know if he's stupid or not, but we'll give it a go. Oh, it wants you to flip it a little bit. Okay. Throwing around in these tight corners. Man, these seats hold you a lot better. Going stock to stock, Mazda definitely put a much better seat in it. Oh, it's confidence inspiring. It wants me to go faster than I'm comfortable to go. Look at that, we pop it back in fourth gear and it feels like a Camry, sports car, but just turned docile. Give it a little sauce. I like this car a lot. And I do see a lot of similarities, especially with the styling cues. They went back to more of a classic look for this newer generation of Miata. They kind of, from what I hear, it's supposed to be more like the original one. It's supposed to be the lightest of all the Miatas. See, I suck at driving. I misshifted right there. And it wasn't upset. It was into a corner, a tight corner. It should have been upset. And the gearing on this thing is short, being a 6-speed though. It wants you to hop in between those gears and feel like a race car driver. It's a little slick here. Oh, it's a little slick. We'll keep her slow. Brendan's got those sticky tires, but we'll keep it slow. No sliding today. It's happy though. It wants you to rev all the way out. Bring it out. You might have to bleep this, Brendan, but it wants you to rev the shit out of it! There we go. Oh, it likes the sweepers. Okay, getting more technical here. Tapped it. Okay, not my car. Not my car. Brendan's car, not my car. That should be an indicator on how fun it is, though. I don't know if they went to like an electronic engaging clutch there. I'd say that's my one downfall. You could probably just put a more aggressive clutch in it and fix that problem. It's quieter on idle, but louder on throttle than the stock NB. Brendan's on me now. But right here, it's quiet. It's controlled when you drop it into that high gear, but when you get on it, you ring it out like it wants you to. It starts to scream a bit. I like that. Woo-hoo! Yeah, there's the little yump on this road. Here's the sketchy corner through the enchanted forest. Brennan's keeping up though. I think he knows this road better than I do. This car's a lot quicker than that one though. I can feel it. It's much more responsive. Look at that. My car almost has, the NB almost has a lag to it, where this one is, it's like a tiny V8. It's punchy and all around. Punchy and all around. God, it's fun to drive though. It doesn't feel as short as it is. It handles like a bigger car. Kind of, it squats back. It likes to squat right there. Tight corner. How does it handle it? Oh, Brennan's got some meats on there. No slip at all. That downshift. Ooh, hand over hand. Let's see how it likes this. I hear the NB squealing, but nothing. This car's quiet. I think Brennan tired up on this car. I don't think these are the stock meats that came from Mazda. Because, yeah, I should have heard some kind of squeal. My car understeers there. So other than being out tired, he's keeping up. And it's sliding around. I can't get this one to slide. This one's too composed. You put too much meat on it, Brendan. No drift car.
So that's gonna be a wrap. We're done with our drive. The MB MX5 is pretty awesome. So is the ND. So closing thoughts, make your car lighter, make your car better. That's all there is to it.
Make it rear-wheel drive.
Make it rear-wheel drive, 5-speed manual, built by Mazda. Basically just make it a Miata.
The answer is Miata.
The answer is. Anyways, thanks for watching everybody. If you guys are into this sort of content, we have much more coming. Think about subscribing and we will see you next time.
Woo! Stay tuned.